and now here we are. And there was a lot going on, in the last week or so that was pretty disturbing, violent, upsetting. I mean, the tragedy that happened in Buffalo, that horrific execution of 10 people and injuring of 2 others. And then you had the execution of a journalist, Shireen, from the Voice of Palestine, and then her funeral, when people were trying to attend her funeral. Of course, we all saw the images of the Israeli occupying forces that were taking down her casket and attacking the mourners. And it was awful. And the headlines, meanwhile, in the West were things like a bullet found. I mean, they were really all around, weaving around what actually happened, which was she was assassinated by Israeli snipers. And they didn't use those words. They said things like a bullet found her head. Like, how does, it was very weird.
I read a couple that said lost her life. She lost her life. Yeah. Yes, the journalist who lost her life. It just sounds like an act of God. Like she slipped on a banana peel or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
She was shot by a military sniper, an unarmed person with a press uniform on, with big white letters that said press. A sniper put their crosshairs on her and shot her dead. And the U.S. Press says she lost her life.
Yeah, I know. And but do you feel like, because of the amount of attention that got, and then what happened subsequently at her funeral, did you feel a sense of questioning finally about and recognizing that the Israeli occupiers are actually implementing apartheid, and that it's unfair and that it's brutal, and giving some attention to people maybe who don't really understand that issue or don't pay attention? What do you think?
I got to tie, everything that's going on now, I tie back to the Ukraine issue for this reason.
Okay.
Whether it's the Buffalo shooting or for this reason. The U.S. empire now is in, kind of having some problems, shall we say, seems to be collapsing in a number of ways. But the Ukraine incident in particular just makes the contradictions between what the leaders of our country say and what they do so glaring. Yes, Biden today, we're going to stand up and we're going to stop white supremacists. Oh, wait a minute. Where's that $40 billion that I'm about to give the Nazis and white supremacists? Meanwhile, yes, there are, we've got to get an international criminal court to do an investigation for war crimes in Ukraine, even though neither Russia nor the U.S. are members of the International Criminal Court. And the U.S. literally, look it up, the 2003 Hague Invasion Act. An actual law that says that if somebody from the U.S. military or the U.S. government is taken to the Hague and tried, that the U.S. is authorized to use military to basically attack the Hague and kill everybody.
To attack Holland.
So now the U.S. says, but this is a war. I mean, after we just slaughter people by the millions and with illegal invasions all over the place, Putin's got to be investigated for war crimes. Now. Right. Today, when they asked the State Department, people of our State Department, about the war crimes investigation and the UN investigation that's been requested for the Shireen Akbella, I think her name is Akbella, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. The U.S. said that it doesn't support, our State Department says they don't support a UN investigation, that the UN would be picking out a single country. Now, what the hell does that mean? Does the UN investigate 5 countries at once? An investigation is an if you say this country did X, that is a single country. You're not saying a bunch of countries did it. So their argument that the U.S., the UN would be picking out a single country, and that they believed that the Israelis could do the investigation. Okay, well, I believe the Russians can do the investigation. No, that's unacceptable. So my point being this, all of these types of things that are happening are just profoundly demonstrating the contradiction between, the woke empire, that does everything to help the minorities or the gays or the trans people, to help some group, you know, the Black people or the BIPOCs. That's the one that kills me. Black or indigenous people of color. They're coming up with names we don't know what the hell they mean anymore. But everything they do is to help some poor downtrodden group. And meanwhile, when you look at their actions, the Palestinians are getting slaughtered, a million dead Iraqis, they're willy-nilly going around the world slaughtering people, cutting them down like cordwood. But when it's convenient for them, they're standing up for human rights.